Hi, it's Jordan Teen 1, and in today's tutorial I'm going to be sharing with you the pattern for my latest bracelet, and this one features 3 characters from the video game Sonic the Hedgehog. So at the top here I have Sonic, in the middle I have Tails the fox, and then at the bottom I have Shadow. And I do have another bracelet that I have 3 additional characters that I'll be showing in a separate tutorial, but I can give you a glimpse of that. I have Knuckles, Amy Rose, and Jet. So this particular bracelet, I used a total of 44 rows, and the measurement is about 6 1/4 inches in length. So it might be a little bit on the small side if you're an adult, but it should probably fit a child-size wrist. So you can always make your bracelet longer or shorter. I found that about every 7 rows equals an inch, give or take a little bit. So you could always add different rows on the ends or in between the characters, or you can also mix and match the characters from the other bracelet. You can make your bracelet on the Alpha Loom or the Rainbow Loom, or really any loom that allows you to have the pins set in line with one another. So I'm going to be showing this one on the Alpha Loom, but if you are using the Rainbow Loom, as I said, you want to have your pins lined up, and then you want to separate your base plates just so your bracelet has room to grow down in between the pins. As far as my band counts, I used 63 black, 37 yellow, 33 blue, 28 skin tone, and those are the regular size bands that you will have to double. I used 36 white, 29 dark green, 31 orange, 40 turquoise, 11 red, and then I used the clear bands for my cross bands, and I used 43 of those. I'm going to be working with my loom in a horizontal position, and then in the upper left hand corner I'm going to add just a section of the grid pattern. So I'm going to do the first couple rows with you until you get the concept of how to make this type of bracelet, and then I'll put the full grid pattern up and you can finish the bracelet on your own. So I'm going to highlight each row as we're working on it. I'm going to begin with 7 black bands, and they are going to stretch straight across, and I do want to twist these. You're only going to have to do this with your very first row, and I just loop them around once, but if you wanted to you could twist them more than that. It does make it just a little bit tighter, but it is a little bit more difficult to loop it around more than that. So I found that one time works fine for me. And then you're going to take your alpha comb, the back side, and push everything down. So if you're using the Rainbow Loom, you can use your hook, you can use a credit card, or a ruler. Now next we're going to put on what I call a tie band or a cross band, and I'm using clear, and this is just going to hold all of the rows together. So it's going to stretch from one side all the way to the other, and it doesn't matter if you put it on the top or the bottom, but I'm just going to put mine on the bottom and stay consistent. So we'll do those in between every row. In the second row I have all yellow, so you can choose whatever background you like, and these are just going to go straight across, and there is no need to twist anymore. And as you're placing these on, you want to try and keep the bands as straight as possible. It just makes for a neater looking bracelet when it's complete. So I can see that this one looks like it's a little bit twisted. So if you do find that your bands are twisted, you can just take your hook and run that around. And then what you're going to do is get your cross band to go into the center. So I usually just like to use my hook to do that, but you can use your fingers or your alpha comb. And then we want the bottom layer to come over the top, and then repeat for the opposite side. And then every time you just want to make sure that you're pushing down to the bottom, just so you have room to add your next layer. And now I have my cross band. In row 3, I have another row of yellow. And as I said earlier, if you feel like you want to make your bracelet longer and you just want to do these 3 characters, you can always add more rows on the ends and then in between the characters just to lengthen that. So I have my crossband to come in the middle, and then once again I have the bottom layer, and that just needs to come off of each side. And then my next crossband. In row 4, we're going to start to add the top of Sonic. So the first 3 are blue, the next 3 are your background color, and then 1 blue on the end. So really it's pretty simple. You just want to follow your grid pattern, match up your colors for every row, and it's just that easy. So now I have my crossband, and then the bottom, and it looks like I missed one there. Just have to be careful when you're using your alpha comb that you get every single band. And now my next crossband. Row 5 is the last row that I'll do with you. So we have our 2 blue to start, and then on the 3rd pin I'm using a skin tone. And since Rainbow Loom hasn't come out with a skin tone for the Alpha Loom, I have a regular size band, so I'll show you how to double that. Then we have blue, 2 yellows, and finally a blue on the end. So you're just going to put these straight across your Alpha Loom bands. And then for a regular size band, what you need to do is to double this. So I found the easiest thing to do is just to loop it on 1 pin, twist, and then just use your fingers to loop it back on. So you can see that it's doubled, and then I just take my hook and then stretch that straight across. You can double it on your fingers and then place it on, or there's different methods, but I've found for me personally that's about the easiest. And then again I have my crossband and then the bottom. So you will find that when you're looping any bands that are doubled, it is a little bit tighter to try and get them off. Pushing all of this down. So now you should have the basic concept down, so I'm going to go ahead and let you finish the rest of the bracelet on your own. So here is the rest of the grid pattern, and since it is in a vertical position and the grid squares are a little bit smaller that way, what I'm going to do is separate out each character, and that way I can blow it up a little bit larger so you can get a little bit of a better view. So I'll leave these grids on the screen. You can pause your video here and finish out your bracelet, and then I will come back and show you how to take it off of the loom. When you have your bracelet completed and you're ready to take it off of the loom, what you're going to do is take your bands from one side and move them to the other. So I'll just take all the bands up top and move them down. Technically, it doesn't really matter what side you move them to. And then what I'm going to do is take the bottom band and I'm going to move all of the bottoms over the top. Just want to make sure that you're only grabbing the bottom. Looks like this one's a little bit too close. It wants to keep grabbing it, so let me move that up. Move them over the top. And then I'm going to push all of these down. And then I'm going to start over here on the right, and what I'm going to do is take this band and move it just to the next pin over. And then from the inside, I'm going to pull up through and over to the left. And I'm just going to keep repeating that. So pull up through and move over to the next pin. I feel like I'm having a hard time to get this to go on there. So I'm just going to do that all the way to the end. I feel like I'm just at a bad angle here. Apologize, it's not going on smoothly. And this is just going to link all these together so that way you don't have the loose ends to deal with. And let me just remove all of these. And then with the very last one here, I'm just going to pull that up through, leave that on my hook. I can remove the whole thing, and then I'm going to take a clip and attach it. So then you can use as many clips or however you want to attach the two ends together to make your bracelet, but at least this way it's only that one loose band. And now your bracelet is complete. I hope that everyone loves their new Sonic bracelets. You can always leave me comments on YouTube and Facebook. You can post pictures of your creations to my Facebook page. And please feel free to subscribe to my YouTube channel, so that way you can stay up to date on my latest tutorials. You can also find me on Pinterest and Instagram, so please, I encourage you to share your pictures and comments there too, and you can also subscribe to those as well. And if you do post pictures on Instagram, don't forget to tag me in your posts. Thanks for watching!